Hello and welcome to HCS Connects. I'm Kelly Gorel with Hampton City Schools. Today we have two of our new executive principals from our high schools. We've got Dr. Dwayne Lucas from Kecoughtan High and Mr. David Coccoli from Phoebus High School. So welcome to HCS Connects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're both kind of deer caught in headlights because it's the first time you've been on HCS Connects, and I promise I don't bite and it's not scary. I was going to say being an executive principal has got to be a little bit scarier than being here. So again, you all are new to this position, both as executive principals of a high school,
yes,
but not new to Hampton City Schools. So Dwayne, tell us about your background a little bit.
So I started here in Hampton in 2001. I started as an avid tutor at Spratly Middle School.
Okay.
And then after that, I began teaching in 2003 at Bethel High School. Taught there for a few years and became a middle school assistant principal at Lindsay Middle School. After Lindsay Middle School, I went to Kecoughtan High School as an academy principal that was for 6 years, I'm sorry. And most recently, I served as a principal at Cesar Tarrant Middle School.
Okay. So what did you teach at Bethel High School?
I taught English.
Oh, in English. So are you an English major?
Yes.
So are you silently correcting my grammar?
No.
No, not at all. And how about you? What is your background with Hampton City Schools?
So I've been in Hampton City Schools for 5 years. Previously, the last 4 years as the freshman academy principal at Phoebus High School. And before that, I was a assistant principal at Jones Magnet Middle. I started in education in 2004. I was a teacher at Warwick High School and a football coach. And then I had 3 head football coaching positions throughout the state, one at Manassas Park in Northern Virginia, Forest Park in Northern Virginia, and then Nansemond River in Suffolk.
Oh, so that's a wide variety of experiences in regards to a head football coach and then teacher and administrator.
Correct.
So what did you teach?
Social studies.
All right, so we've got social studies and English. I was predominantly math back in the day, but I did teach English and science. So we're a well-rounded group today. Now, you mentioned multiple places. So did you grow up in Hampton, or where are you from?
I'm from Newport News, so not quite in Hampton, but I grew up and was born and raised in Newport News. I went to Warwick High School and graduated from there, and then actually went to college at Christopher Newport and graduated there in 2003. I did live in Hampton for 2 years during college, but that's as far as I can claim as growing up in Hampton.
Growing up in Hampton, but you're here now.
That's right.
This is family now.
It is.
So Dwayne, how about you? Were you from Hampton originally, or where did you grow up?
No, I didn't grow up in Hampton. I grew up in Southampton County. It's a rural community. I actually came here to go to Hampton University, and I came and I never left.
All right, so both of you kind of claim to fame as far as going to school right in this area between Christopher Newport and HU. So again, now, David, you were at, Phoebus High School as an academy principal. What did you accomplish in your role as an academy principal that you feel like is going to serve you well now as the executive principal?
Absolutely. So as a freshman academy principal, we worked real hard on making sure all our students got promoted, working with SCL and mentoring, looking at our data. Last year, we only had 2% of our students retained. So we were real proud of that.
Yeah.
And then as part of the academy principal, we still have our content areas. And the last couple of years, I was over science. And we made some significant gains in the science department with our standardized testing. I think we led the division last year in our science SOL score, so we can brag a little bit about that.
Well, I saw you give the side eye to Dr. Dwayne Lucas there. So I know you're coming from Tarrant Middle School. I will say middle school is kind of my heart. I was a middle school teacher and a middle school administrator before going into PR marketing. So I do love some middle school. Even though my daughter's in middle school right now, it's not as much fun when you're a parent because those are some challenging years. But you said that you were an academy principal at Kecoughtan. So between the academy principal at Kecoughtan and then the principalship at Tarrant, how do you think that is going to serve you well in this new role?
Sure. As the academy principal at Kecoughtan High School, I was actually the academy principal of instruction. And in that role, a lot of what you do is the work of a principal. And so I delved into work with the master schedule, with making sure that I was in every facet of the academic program and making sure that the program that we provide our students is excellent. And that, as well as at Tarrant Middle School, those experiences with ensuring academic excellence, plus ensuring that our kids had access to post-secondary opportunities. I'm very proud of our work last year that through the Gear Up grant, where we ensured that our students went on college visits, where our students went, we had college tours, as well as we had a college and career fair each year for our students.
And that's at the middle school level.
It's at the middle school level, absolutely.
Which that really encompasses the Portrait of a Hampton graduate. We talk about that all the time, that work does not start in 9th grade. It can't start in 9th grade, because if it does, we're not going to have success for our students. And really, because now we're a forward next generation learning community, K-12, we're the first in the nation. It's showing why we're the first in the nation, because we were having those experiences even before that designation at that middle school level.
Absolutely.
So again, what are you looking forward to, though, the most this upcoming year as the executive principal at Kecoughtan?
Sure. As the executive principal, one of the things that I'm really highlighting this year is our Portrait of a Hampton graduate. Recognizing that is our promise to our community.
It is.
Recognizing that we want to make sure that our students are collaborators, communicators, that they have that positive sense of self. In addition to that, that they have access to the content knowledge and understand it well. So this year, working with our faculty and staff, we are working to ensure that all of our students receive academic excellence.
Well, he probably stole your answer, because I know that's really, that is the meat of what we do here at Hampton City Schools, between our core business of teaching and learning and the Portrait of a Hampton graduate. And one of the things that our superintendent, Dr. Raymond Haynes, has said as he's going out and talking with faculties this year is, have those meaningful conversations with your students and say, are we meeting our promise? And if not, what can we do different to make sure? Because it is our promise. So even though he stole your answer, what are you most looking forward to this year as executive principal at Phoebus?
Well, I will use the Portrait of a Hampton graduate, because that is it's in our mission statement. We educate and engage all learners every day in order to ensure they reflect the Portrait of a Hampton graduate. But as I transition to this new role, and as we're working in this new role, we're going to keep moving forward. We've made some significant gains academically in the past couple of years at Phoebus High School, and the mission remains the same, which is our purpose is greatness every day in every way, and we will continue to do that moving forward.
So great responses. And you didn't even we don't have any cue cards. This is truly the business of teaching and learning in your buildings.
Absolutely.
So our high schools, they're very similar. We went through our high school transformation 6, 7, 8 years ago, and through the academies of Hampton. So I know that our high schools, they have their own flavor, but they are also very similar. So tell me about and for those that I guess are unaware of our academies of Hampton, which hopefully no one out there at this point is, we have 16 wall-to-wall academies, 4 within each of our high schools that revolve around the same sort of theme. And then we have 44 pathways, that encompass our 4 high schools as well. So over at Phoebus, what are the 4 academies over at Phoebus? 5 when you count freshmen, the freshman academy.
So we have the Academy of Hospitality and Tourism, Cybersecurity, Engineering, Robotics, Digital Video Production, and then finally, which is one of our most popular academies, which they're all popular, but one that people like because is the Advanced College Experience, in which we now call the College Experience, where students can receive a associate's degree from VPCC before they actually walk across the stage, graduating from Phoebus High School.
Well, I know a fun fact about that. Within the last 3 years, through that VPCC Academy of the College Experience, we've had 100 graduates walk across the VPCC stage and receive their associates a few weeks before walking across the stage at the Coliseum and receiving that high school diploma. So, and it's really great to see that cohort keep increasing. But we've had 100 students in the last 3 years. So those 4 academies are at Phoebus. What are the 4 academies over at Kecoughtan?
So we have the On-Stage Performing Arts Academy. We also have the Academy of Teaching, Education, and Learning. We have the Academy of Entrepreneurship and Information Design. And lastly, we have the Academy of Architecture, Engineering, and Environment.
Well, you guys both passed the test, because that's a lot to remember, but you know your schools well. And it's not just about teaching through that lens. We always explain the academy is almost kind of like the middle school model, and you can vouch for that as being the previous principal of Tarrant Middle, is that you've got your core teachers, and those students travel amongst those core teachers so that they're learning their academy theme through the lens. But another piece of that is really, and we always stress this, is that sometimes students, they realize what they don't like. so that they hopefully are just getting those good skills as they go on to college career, to be life ready, so that when they're going to college, we always joke that they're not wasting a lot of money, that they've realized what they like and don't like. Sadly, I will say my son is not a graduate of Hampton City Schools. He is a sophomore right now and just declared. He's still kind of like, I think, and I'm like, oh, you think? It's been an expensive ride for 2 years to think. So again, that's an advantage of that. So this, again, the high schools are very similar, but you've got some differences. So what are some differences over at Phoebus?
Well, I know our football team is back-to-back state champions, so that's one of our differences, I know. And we're looking for our third state championship this fall, and we're currently undefeated, so a little plug to them. So that's one of the differences. But, I mean, we are very similar. I mean, we always are focusing on the portrait of a Hampton graduate, so I don't think we have too many differences. And we're a very collaborative executive principal group. So, we run ideas off each other, and we try to work together to the best benefit of the students, because we are one community, one transformation.
We are. That was a little bit of a dig there.
I noticed that.
So you noticed that? So what do you have? What is the difference for Kecoughtan?
So the difference is we actually are champs in terms of track for our men's track. And so we're proud of them as well, and we're looking forward to repeat that this year as well.
Look at that. So we've got 2 state champions. We've got boys outdoor track over at Kecoughtan. We've got hopefully a three-peat over at Phoebus High with football. And I'll put a plug in. Dr. Raymond Haynes, our superintendent, has started a new podcast called HCS Talks, and he'll be visiting actually Phoebus soon to talk with the coach Blunt about his season and hoping for that three-peat. So yeah, but again, our high schools are very similar. It is all about, we started with one division, one transformation when we went to that academy model and transforming our high schools. But we really have our mantra, going into this year's one community, one transformation. And one of the things, again, that we keep talking about with staff, the Portrait of a Hampton graduate talks all about collaboration and communication for our students. We talk about collaboration and communication with our teachers and how, it's hard to do it on your own. You need to have that team. And you all are a great team. You meet fairly often, and you collaborate and communicate to see what's working in your buildings, what's not, and to take away some great nuggets to hopefully use within your own buildings.
Yes, absolutely.
So as we wrap up, anything else that you would like to, either of you, like to share with the viewing audience about either your background, things that are coming up within your buildings, or just your excitement around this year?
So we're excited to continue to work to expand opportunities for our school. One of the things that we're looking at is for our students that are in the Academy of Teaching, Education, and Learning, we're looking for opportunities for them to seek, for instance, an associate's degree in the upcoming years. So we're looking forward to the opportunity, and hopefully more information will come soon.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be new. I know that Mr. Coccoli just talked about that ACE Academy over at Phoebus and the opportunity for students to receive that associates, but we're now looking at Kecoughtan High and how we can push that in there for that teaching academy, because we want to grow our own. We want our students to want to go into education and come back and work for Hampton City Schools.
Absolutely.
But you also have something else going on at Kecoughtan. There's a big part of your building that's popping up. What's going on with that?
So we have a new science wing that will open very soon. We are looking forward to it. It provides a great opportunity for us to increase our safety measures, as well as for our students to be learning in a state-of-the-art lab. The building is amazing, and we look forward to sharing it with our students so they can experience it.
I have not been inside yet, and I'm looking forward to taking a tour, going inside, because it looks amazing from the outside.
It's beautiful.
It is really pretty. So over at Phoebus, any last thoughts?
We're just going to keep our promise to our community and continue to educate and engage our learners every day in every way. And our purpose remains the same, and that's greatness every day in every way.
Well, thank you both for being here. I know how busy you are. We were joking right before we started and got on camera about breakfast and lunch and how busy the both of you are, and trying to catch those small opportunities just to even eat. So we really appreciate you kind of stepping away from your busy buildings just so that we can learn a little bit more about you and this year at both of your respective schools. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on HCS Connects. Remember, it's easy to stay connected.